Welcome to our virtual open house regarding the Specialized Transit Plan for ActiVan. Although we were looking forward to seeing you face-to-face, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have decided to host a virtual presentation instead of in person. Today's presentation is brought to you from the town of Halton Hills and our consultant team from Left Turn, Right Turn, and EY. Presenting today is Ashlyn O'Hara, Accessibility Specialist with Left Turn, Right Turn. Our agenda will begin with an overview of the Specialized Transit Plan, which will cover why the changes are happening. Then we will provide an update on which changes are happening this year. Next, we will provide an overview of the recommendations and conclude our presentation by inviting you to complete a survey. The Town of Halton Hills Specialized Transit Plan is currently underway. The purpose of this plan is to improve the ActiVan service within the town and to support the broader Halton Hills transit service strategy. ActiVan is the door-to-door specialized transit which provides service to seniors and persons with disabilities within the town of Halton Hills. The objectives of the Specialized Transit Plan are to review the current service and recommend short-term improvements, plan for future demand and create service standards to improve customer experience, and to engage existing customers and the general public to get feedback on current service and future developments. The Specialized Transit Plan is divided into two phases. Phase 1 evaluated ActiVan services focusing on two key areas. Service delivery model for ActiVan, which explores the way in which service is delivered, and service improvements to ensure AODA compliance. AODA stands for Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. This work was completed and approved by Council on September 28, 2020. We are now in Phase 2 of the project. Phase 2 focuses on planning for the future. This phase has three key areas: assessing demand and creating service standards to improve customer experience and service delivery, conducting public consultation to obtain input into recommendations and service standards, and developing medium and long-term recommendations to address customer priorities and future demand. It is expected that Phase 2 will be completed within the summer of 2021. Why are changes happening? It's important to understand the reason why ActiVan needs to make changes for the future. Over the next 10 years, there will be a steady increase in the demand for ActiVan service. This means that with our aging population, more people will experience disabilities, and therefore more people will require specialized transit. This slide shows a graph that depicts the increase in demand over the next 10 years. It shows the current demand forecasted for year 2022 to be 60,000 trips on ActiVan's accessible vans and buses. In 2031, the graph shows that forecasted trips for ActiVan's accessible vans and buses could increase past 90,000 trips per year. ActiVan needs to carefully plan for this increase in demand in order to make sure the service is readily available for those who need it most. As a first step in preparing for the increased demand, our project team completed the following activities in fall 2020. We hosted our first virtual open house in December 2020. We presented short-term recommendations to improve ActiVan service and proposed new service standards to ensure ActiVan continues to provide excellent service. And finally, we conducted an online survey to gain input on the current customer experience and the new proposed service standards. Here is the feedback we heard from you. 84% of respondents are very satisfied with ActiVan's customer service. 68% of respondents are satisfied with their ActiVan vehicle and taxi trips. 48% of respondents find trip booking to be easy and convenient. 30% of respondents find it difficult to get a trip at the exact time they would like. 23% of respondents voice that the booking window is inconvenient. 43% of respondents were not aware of existing transfer connections to neighboring municipalities. 18% of respondents wanted to access more information about transfer connections. 65% of respondents wanted to see improved connections to Oakville and Milton. Let's now turn our focus to what changes are happening this year. Our first two exciting changes to improve our service for our customers include extending trip booking hours. What this means is that customers will now have the option to book trips up to 3 hours before the end of the service day, including weekends. Previously, customers were not able to contact ActiVan on the weekends to book a trip. This positive change will expand the hours available for customers to book trips. Additionally, ActiVan will be shortening the booking window. What this means is that customers will be able to book trips 7 days in advance, rather than having to book their trips 30 days in advance. By shortening the booking window, customers will experience more flexibility and spontaneous travel options. Next, we will be increasing our evening and weekend capacity in the ActiVan office. This means that the office will be open on the evenings and weekends to accept bookings from customers, to schedule trips and vehicles, and to respond to customer inquiries. We will also be updating our application form for persons with disabilities and seniors. The updated form will provide the opportunity for applicants to tell us about their own needs and how best to support them, rather than only asking the health professional. ActiVan will expand the list of health professionals that are approved to complete the eligibility form. This change means that mental health professionals and professionals supporting persons with cognitive disabilities will be able to complete the application form on behalf of their clients. And finally, we will set up transfer points in Milton and the region of Peel. The planned transfer points include Lisgar GO Station, Regional Road 25/Highway 401 GO Bus Stop, and the Walmart bus stop at the Milton Crossroads Mall. Additionally, ActiVan will provide more inter-regional transfer information on our website and improve schedules to make transfers more seamless. Now we will provide an overview of our recommendations for this year and beyond. Recommendations for this year include updating our registration cards to be more durable, launching our online booking software, creating a support person application for customers who registered for ActiVan based on age, and adding recycling bins on ActiVan accessible buses to take steps towards our environmental goals. Next year, in 2022, we plan to update the fare structure to a flat rate, introduce monthly passes, revise our mini user guide and online user guide to ensure information is consistent, and to go paperless where possible. Between 2023 and 2024, we plan to extend ActiVan's hours of service from 5 a.m. to midnight, extend use of ActiVan's accessible buses and vans from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturdays, and to integrate the Council-approved Universal Access Service, UAS, booking with ActiVan booking. And finally, to update our user guides to reflect changes in ActiVan after the implementation of the Council-approved UAS. In 2025, we plan to implement an automated fare collection system to introduce tap card for fare payments. And in 2030, we are planning for the electrification of the ActiVan fleet and the supporting infrastructure upgrades. In the next 10 years, ActiVan will see lots of improvements. Here's what ActiVan will look like in the next 10 years. Online booking for ActiVan, including taxis, improved scheduling practices to better match customer demand, automated fare collection system, electrification of ActiVan fleet, and the increased availability of ActiVan accessible vans and buses for service. Thanks for listening to our overview of how ActiVan service will change and improve over the next year and beyond. We are interested in your feedback as it is very important to us. Please tell us about your thoughts on our final recommendations by completing the survey, leaving comments, or by asking the town a question. These feedback tools and additional background information can be found on our public engagement website, letstalkhaltonhills.ca/specialized-transit-plan. Stay informed about the Specialized Transit Plan by subscribing to the project page at letstalkhaltonhills.ca/specialized-transit-plan. This concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and participate.